Where's your mic? Oh, it's right there. Has one. It's right behind her coffee. Can't see it.
Oh, it blends in. Yes.
That's what he told me.
When do I get sworn in? You get sworn in? Have you been sworn in? Have you been sworn in?
It's on now.
Good evening, everybody. If I could have your attention, thank you. So this is the Town Council meeting, and I will call the Bridgewater Town Council meeting to order at 7:04. Please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States
States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The Town Council meeting is being streamed live via YouTube. Please note that, go to the Town of Bridgewater Facebook page for the link. Thank you. I have no condolence for any of the veterans, but please join me in a moment of silence for all the Bridgewater veterans who have passed. Thank you. Congratulations to the new town councils and those who got reelected. Glad to have you there. All right, so the next thing we go on to is approval of the minutes. So April 7th, 2026, Town Council meeting minutes. Can I have a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
Any discussion?
Madam President, are new members allowed to vote, or should we abstain for the time being?
You have to abstain.
Thank you, Madam President.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that. All right, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None, so motion passes. April 9th, 2026, special town council meetings.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. So now at April 14th, 2026, special town council meeting minutes. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None, seeing none? All right, motion passed. All right, so the next thing we have is announcements from the president. B, outgoing vice president remarks. So I just figured I'd pass the pieces of advice to my new counselors. So find an issue that you can work on with another counselor. Disagreements should be discussed, voted on, and left in the chambers. Before you vote, ask yourself, why am I voting this way? And the most important, don't get tangled up on Facebook. So now we have, we're going to Approve, no, wait a minute. Now we have reorganization of the president and the vice president. So I will ask that Assistant Town Clerk Jolie come up and conduct that.
Good evening. It's
Good
a pleasure
evening.
to be here tonight. I didn't know if our new councilors would like to come forward and be sworn. And are reelected, I'm sorry. When you're ready, if you'll raise your right hands. Do you solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially perform your duties as town councilors for the town of Bridgewater to the best of your ability, so help you God? Congratulations to you all. And we'll now have our election for town council president. All right. And I'll open it up to nominations for president.
I'll make a motion to nominate Paul Murphy for president.
Second.
Are there any other nominations?
I would like to nominate MJ for president.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Are there any other nominations? Okay, hearing none, I will close nominations, and pursuant to Robert rules, the nominations will be voted on in the order in which they were nominated, and the first person nominated was Paul Murphy. So all in favor of Paul Murphy?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, could I have a show of hands? Sorry. Okay. And that is a majority. So Paul does get the presidency. Congratulations. And now I'll turn it over to our new president to elect the vice president.
It's up to you. Stay there till we reorg. Okay, I'll take a nomination for vice president.
I'd like to take a motion to nominate Mark Lindy for vice president.
Okay.
Second.
I have a second. I'll do it in the same order that Jolie did it as well. So any other nominations?
I'd like to nominate myself, Mr. President.
Nominate for MJ?
I'd like to nominate Sean Kennedy.
Well, hold on, MJ
We got
needs a
a
second.
second.
Oh, okay,
Sorry.
sorry.
Second for MJ? Okay. Take
And further nominations?
any further nominations?
Yeah, I'd like to nominate Sean Kennedy.
Okay, Sean.
Second.
Seconded. Okay, so we'll take a vote for those two nominations. Council Lindy first, because he was nominated first. I think it's easier if we do a roll call vote, Debbie. I don't know. It's opposed to hands, so could you please do a roll call? Mark, yes, please.
No.
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 Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
So I'll take that nomination for Mr. Kennedy. Can we do a roll call vote, please?
Yes.
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 No.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, is Jolie going to do reorganization now? The full council?
The seats.
Yes, so if the president and vice president would like to take the president and vice president seats. And you can see there's some numbers on the seating. And I'm going to have you pick a card to pick your seat.
I'll take the ace.
I don't have a choice. I'm in your seat.
I think we don't see.
Congratulations to our president and vice president.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
I'm not sure. Jolie, do you want the cards back?
Is it okay if I plug in the middle of the floor there or over there? Yeah, I don't want anybody to trip over that.
Okay.
Are you all set, Mary Lee? You want to go here? Okay, thank you again to our Assistant Town Clerk. We will move on to C, proclamations. We have one proclamation this evening, and I'm going to turn it over to Councilor Hunt to enter and read that proclamation into the record.
Okay. Thank you, new president. This is a proclamation for what we call the OTC. Would folks affiliated with the OTC want to come forward and be standing up here so we can read this proclamation for your work? And when I'm done reading it, stay there for a minute so I can bring it and kind of hand it out to you. And the proclamation goes like this. Whereas, I want to put my glasses on, and I'll actually know what I'm saying. Whereas, in 1967, Bridgewater State College student Stephen White and John Hayes began an open mic night for the town of Bridgewater. Over time, with the help of Bridgewater citizens Greg Lee, it became a regular Friday night event at the Methodist Parish Hall, now known as the Cedar Street Community Center. Whereas, in 1974, Open Mic Night became the For Every Man Coffee House, offering performances until 1978. Then it revitalized in 1980 to the Off the Common Coffee House, which became universally referred to as the OTC from that time forward. Performances took place at the First Parish Church, where the OTC has remained until now. Whereas, considerable assistance was offered over years from Greg Lee, James Moore, Jim and Nancy Donnelly, Al Sylvia, Tom St. Thomas, David Wilson, and several others. Whereas over the years, hundreds of performances by local musicians were capped off with notable performances. Many dynamic recording artists, both up and coming and already famously successful, contributed and participated. Such Grammy-winning performers as Lori McKenna, Pat Larkin, Cheryl Wheeler, Bill Morrissey, Vance Gilbert, and Chris Smither, recently featured as the 2026 Oscar-winning short film The Singers, enjoyed performances, and that is listing only a few. And whereas the OTC has provided 59 years of incredible entertainment to Bridgewater, adding to our town's cultural history with many years of dedicated work gathering talents, ensuring pleasures for our citizens, and now offering, as its finale, a concert featuring Greg Greenway at the First Parish Church on Friday, May 9th, 2026. Saturday. Did I get it wrong? Yes. No. Don't listen to me, listen to whoever said it right. Now we, the Town of Bridgewater Council, gratefully declare, and I said Saturday, May 9th, but whichever real date it's supposed to be Off the Common Coffee House Day in Bridgewater, as we award acknowledgement and deep gratitude for the years of entertainment provided by the current members of the OTC, with fond memories of those who entertained us so well but have passed on or are not available to attend tonight. And I have some proclamations that I'm going to pass out, and you can fight over who gets them.
Stage left. You have one?
We all set?
Is that it? Out the door.
I think that's it.
I came to answer questions.
Mary Lee, did you want to take a picture?
Oh, yes, can we take a picture?
Yeah.
You are all invited Saturday at 7 o'clock at First Parish Church for the last performance. Everybody here, and thank you all very much.
I think they want to take a picture. Can you all, combine?
You don't want to go up there?
Question.
Should I go up there with them? Are you going to be able to work me in? I'm shorter than everybody else.
Question.
No, that's, Mary Lee wrote it.
If I may ask a question,
I'll stand in front. I don't think I'll block any of you from the picture.
why is it your last performance?
Good idea. Yay. You all ready? Smile. OTC. Thank you.
Who brought the coffee?
Thank you all very much.
Thank you all. It looks good to me. All right, at this time, we'll move to citizen open forum. Due to Massachusetts open meeting law requirements, discussions will not take place during public comment periods. If appropriate, responses to questions and concerns will be given by the town manager at a future town council meeting. Anyone may comment at this time for up to 3 minutes. Comments or inquiries should be made in a respectful manner and not cast aspirations or on individual council members or the council as a whole. Remember to state your name and your address prior to speaking. And ma'am, you only have 1 minute.
I know. So now I'm going to go 3 minutes. So Alex Murphy, 25 Ashford Lane, and Cameron, too. This is my first in-person meeting because, quite frankly, as you could tell, it's bedtime. First, I want to say congrats to our new town council president, Dr. Murphy. Cameron and I are so proud of you and all you've done for our town so far and all you will continue to do. You've always gone above and beyond in all that you do. People may not realize the commitment, the late night citizens emails, the office hours, the meetings with the town manager. It's a lot for anyone. I truly appreciate all the work that you and all the other town councilors do for the town. Speaking of Dr. Murphy, even though you've already defended your dissertation, he graduates officially on Saturday. I also want to welcome Tim and MJ. I know you all will be great representatives for this town and a great voice for the citizens. And congratulations to Vice President Kennedy. This year will be a big one for Bridgewater. I don't need to go through the list of issues or the headlines of what is ahead. We all know. The one comment I will make is that I hope that we, citizens and councilors, can come together to move this town forward. Being able to work together is going to be key. Separate agendas or creating more problems aren't going to create solutions. I hope that we can continue to have civil conversations, engage citizens, and actionable items to move this town forward. Citizens, please reach out and have conversations with your councilors directly. They truly appreciate hearing from you. Thank you for giving me the time to speak. I think that was a minute. The last thing I will say is to the town attorney, good luck. You got him for 3 more years. So, thank you all. Somebody can take our seats, too. We're headed for bedtime.
Sorry, this is the me show right now. All right, anybody else like to follow that up?
I don't think I can follow that up. Good evening, councilors. Sam Baumgarten, 60 Short Street. Welcome back to all of the veterans and as well as to the new councilors. In a Facebook post last week, our local coffee shop, The Boundless Bean, posted a brief commentary about its policy of hiring young adults with differing abilities. This policy makes a clear, deliberate statement about the importance of inclusion, about providing a space for those who don't often get such opportunities. At the end of the post, readers were asked to place one word in the comments section about what inclusion means. Here are some of the answers. Everyone, safe, welcome, beneficial, blending, important, thoughtful, dignity, kindness, diversity, necessary, love, understanding, compassion, involvement, opportunity, empathy, together, harmony, acceptance, essential, freedom, valued, humanity, equality, appreciated, family, independence, hope, community, representation, visibility, friendship, enlightened, happiness, village, respect, joy, integration, belonging, interconnectedness, unity, one, and patience. In case you weren't counting, that's 44. And there were even more that followed. Last week, in the debate over the Pride Month and Juneteenth resolutions, some councilors supported the notion that the recognition of Pride Month and the Juneteenth flag raisings would be splintering, a splintering action, or would be seen as the council taking a partisan or ideological position. In an email response to those arguments, I noted to the contrary that these celebrations are unifying and can provide much-needed welcoming and recognition to groups that are regularly subject to hate, discrimination, or erasure. With such injustice revealed daily in even a cursory glance at national news, as federal and state governments continue their attacks on members of the LGBTQ and Black and brown communities. A unanimous vote in support of the flag resolutions would have brought all 44 words to life. It would have been a statement that inclusion is not a dirty word, but rather that speaking up and voting for inclusion is a statement in favor of fundamental human and civil rights. This new council has a tough road ahead dealing with water management crisis, downtown issues, and a budget which will limit what we can do. But as you move forward, the aura or atmosphere you create as you conduct your deliberations will matter more than anything. I hope your words, actions, and votes will put Bridgewater in the forefront of demonstrating welcoming and inclusivity. And please come to the flag raisings. Thank you.
Good evening, Janet Hansen. I can't follow those two eloquently, but here's what I have to say. Good evening, everyone. Congratulations to Tim Trocchio, MJ Spagoni, Paul Murphy, and Mark Lindy for the results of the election, and I am looking forward to a new, exciting town council. New, in course, you know, half of you new, half of you not, but I think it has good outlook. I first like to be sure that requested changes to the form-based code that will be continued. I tried to find it tonight so I could refer to it, but alas, the website, I could not. And no surprise there. That code only favors the developers, I feel, and that was when they were developing it in the beginning. I questioned those regulations. It doesn't favor the town, it doesn't favor the boards. The planning board needs to regain control along with other boards and committees and leave the CED out of it. Having the checklist risks error. Signing off on projects without knowing who exactly signs off on it is unacceptable. Signing is happening too quickly, and I feel the CED has too much power over it. I can't remember which town councilors were proposing the changes. I think there was an ordinance, but I couldn't find it. I really wish I could have found it so I could refer to it, but I hope you continue with it. I know Councilor Kennedy and I believe Loretti were working on the water impact study changes, and I hope that continues with Mr. Kennedy and another town councilor. I don't know how that works, but hopefully that continues. On the budget, I still feel the school department budget is unsustainable. It's too high. I think they need to go back to the drawing board. I think it's too top-heavy. We need to fund the library and keep ACO in the budget, and I feel we should eliminate the CED. If you can't get rid of it, then unfund it, like you did unfund the ACO and you unfund the library. So unfund CED, and then you'll have money to go to the library and the ACO. I just think that should be done. And lastly, I see in the public notice that there was a water treatment plant for Plymouth Street Wells goes before the Concom on May 14th. And a gentleman online noted that it said interim versus, didn't say temporary, didn't say permanent. And he questioned that because he thought that was a new term that hadn't been up before, was interim. So I would, hopefully that could be answered by somebody tonight, town manager or town council. Which is it? Interim or interim or temporary or permanent? Which is it? We need to know that tonight because the Concom meeting is next Thursday. So we need clarification. Hopefully that can be done tonight. And that's all I have right now, and I think that's my little time going off. So thank you, and best wishes to everybody.
Anybody else? Okay, seeing nobody, we'll move on to appointments. Go ahead. 3 minutes.
I'll time it for you. Counselors, new counselors, congratulations. Johnny Loretti, 300 Black Mallory Road. Dr. Murphy, congratulations. Good to see you in that seat leading the council. You have my utmost confidence. I just wanted to bring your attention to, as I'm sure you're aware, you have a couple of pieces of legislation that I sponsored that I won't obviously be able to continue sponsoring this evening on the exemptions for our veterans, 22I and 22J. So I'd encourage you all to obviously push those forward this evening and find new sponsors for those. And I'll be making some other comments later, but I wanted to just say that before you guys open those public hearings this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Loretti, and also thank you for your service to the town council on behalf of the town as well, too. Thank you. We'll move on to E, appointments. The first appointment I have is for the Veteran Council. Taj Russell, I hope I'm saying that correctly, Taj Russell. I'll take a motion.
Moved. Second.
Okay, and we can do all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, moving on to B, Cultural Council appointment, Teresa Lindy. I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Want to make a, sorry.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I'd like to abstain from this because it's my wife that's being considered, and I just want to make sure there's no appearance of conflict.
Of course. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll take a motion, thank you.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion's 8-0 with one abstaining. Okay, moving on to F, hearings. We'll start with ordinance D, FY 25-019, adoption of clause 22I of Massachusetts general laws. We do need a motion to amend the sponsor for this.
Motion to amend.
Second.
Okay,
Mr. President, I would like to co-sponsor that piece of legislation.
As would I.
Same.
yeah, how do I, to the attorney here?
Who are the current? Let's jump. So you can obviously entertain a motion to change the initial sponsor. Conceivably, there's no co-sponsor on the current legislation. So I think you just take a motion and you probably, it sounds to me like you have two people who want to be sponsors.
Right.
So,
I got a motion from Councilor Spigot and a second by Councilor Lindy.
so I would take that vote first.
Yeah,
I don't see a current co-sponsor on it. There's currently only one sponsor, so I would just replace the one sponsor at this time.
Okay, so I'll go to Councilor Spigot. So Councilor Spigot to co-sponsor, we'll take a vote on that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes 9-0. Okay, I'll move on. Okay, moving on. General Ordinance D, well, sorry, we gotta vote on, we gotta open that public hearing now, right? I'm new to this. Okay, so we'll open the public hearing. The time is now 7:34, and I will ask if there are any general questions from the public regarding this ordinance. Seeing none, I'll ask if anybody from the public would like to speak in favor of this ordinance.
Mr. President, point of order. There was a summary given by Mr. Pitta, who is unable to be present. Should it be read into the record or just put into the record?
Yeah, I believe Councilor Perry is going to read that into the record after this.
Okay.
Thank you. So would anybody like to speak in favor? See anybody? Would I like to ask if anybody would like to speak in opposition of this ordinance? Seeing none, I'll ask the councilors if they have any questions. Councilor Perry, do you want to read first?
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, as mentioned, we have a letter from former council member Scott Pitta in support of this, so I wanted to read his letter into the record. He could not be here this evening as he's recovering from a surgery. So, dear members of the Bridgewater Town Council, my name is Scott Pitta. I'm a longtime resident of the town of Bridgewater, a veteran and attorney, and currently serve as Chief of Staff at the Massachusetts Office of the Veteran Advocate. Due to medical reasons, I am unable to attend the public hearing in person and respectfully submit this written testimony for the record in strong support of the adoption of Clause 22I and 22J of MGL Chapter 59, Section 5. I urge the council to approve both proposals. Clause 22I corrects the decades-long structural flaw in the Commonwealth's approach to veteran property tax relief. The current exemption values have remained largely unchanged since approximately the 1980s, resulting in a steady erosion of the real value due to inflation. By tying these exemptions to the Consumer Price Index, Clause 22I ensures that the benefit maintains its intended impact over time rather than diminishing year after year. Clause 22J complements this reform by providing municipalities with the ability to meaningfully increase exemptions for service-connected disabled veterans. Under the proposed adoption, Bridgewater would increase exemptions for veterans across disability ratings, including increasing the benefit for 100% disabled veterans from $1,000 to $1,500. These are targeted, measurable improvements for individuals who have sustained service-related injuries. However, the most important consideration is economic. Data developed by the Massachusetts Office of the Veteran Advocate demonstrates that the veteran population in Bridgewater generates approximately $16.6 million in annual economic value, while the estimated cost of the veteran community is approximately $3.18 million, resulting in a net positive impact of over $13.4 million annually and an estimated return on investment of 5 to 1. Veterans in Bridgewater collectively generate more than $86 million annual income, with approximately $47 million spent each year, a substantial portion of which is retained within the local economy, supporting local businesses and stabilizing the housing market. It is critical to properly understand what this is reflected in the estimated $3.18 million cost of the veteran community. This figure does not represent veteran-specific spending. Rather, it reflects the proportional share of total municipal expenditures attributable to veteran residents, including schools, police, fire, infrastructure, and other general services that are provided equally to all residents of Bridgewater. By contrast, the actual direct cost of veteran-specific municipal benefits, including property tax exemptions and Chapter 115 financial assistance, totals approximately $52,128 annually, representing just 0.07% of the total municipal expenditures. When isolating actual veteran-specific municipal costs, approximately $52,000 annually, against the more than $22 million in externally sourced income brought into the community through veteran benefits and retirement income, the return on investment is not marginal, it is overwhelming. Massachusetts is simultaneously facing a long-term structural decline in its veteran population. Estimates suggest that approximately 70 to 80% of Massachusetts residents who leave the state for military service do not return. This represents a sustained loss of economic activity, workforce participation, and community leadership to other states. Bridgewater cannot control that trend at the state level, but it can compete locally. Adopting clauses 22I and 22J signal that Bridgewater is a community that values and actively attracts veterans. Veterans leaving military service bring with them stable external income streams, including VA disability compensation, retirement pensions, GI Bill housing stipends, and access to VA-backed home loans that directly strengthen local economies without placing disproportionate demand on municipal services. Anticipated fiscal concerns. Some may view these measures as a reduction in tax revenue or an added burden on the municipal budget. That concern misunderstands both the scale and structure of the impact. The incremental cost of these exemptions is minimal in the context of the overall budget, measured in tens of thousands of dollars, while the economic activity generated by veterans is measured in tens of millions. More importantly, these benefits function as a targeted economic development tool, attracting and retaining residents who bring external, non-local revenue into the community. From a purely fiscal perspective, failing to adopt these measures risks losing high-value residents to competing municipalities that have already taken similar steps. Bridgewater has long faced structural challenges due to its reliance on residential tax revenue. Encouraging veteran residency is a practical, data-supported strategy to increase economic activity, strengthen the tax base, and enhance long-term financial stability without increasing demand for municipal services at a proportional rate. For these reasons, I respectfully urge the Town Council to vote in favor of adopting both Clause 22I and Clause 22J. Thank you for your time and consideration and for your continued service to the residents of Bridgewater. Respectfully submitted, Scott Pitta.
Thank you, Councilor Perry. Any other questions from the council?
I'd like to make a comment. So I am the only veteran here on this council, and I cannot support this piece of legislation enough. Dad, I'd like you to stand up and just wave to the crowd. My dad was my very first veteran I met in my life. He was a Marine Corps veteran. I got another friend, Jeff Krebs. Jeff drove all the way from work. He'll never talk about himself. He's over there in the corner. Bronze Star recipient. I got Scott Blake, known him since childhood. Guy's deployed to combat 3 times, one of my closest friends. He's the veteran service officer for the town of Rainham. He doesn't do things for image. He does it to get things done. Scott, I love you. Dad, I love you. Jeff, I love you. Dave, I see ya. This piece of legislation should be supported unanimously. That's all I have. Thank you.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a...
Family night continues.
I'd like to make a comment, Mr. President.
Yes.
So first of all, thank you, Tim, for your comments. And to the veterans who are in attendance tonight, thank you for your service. This is a debt that we can hardly begin to repay to all of you. I strongly support and advocate for this piece of legislation because I think it is vitally important to provide our veterans with some level of compensation in their civilian lives, and I believe it will contribute greatly to the economy, but also greatly to a level of confidence that our veterans will know that they are cared for, cherished, and appreciated for their services to the United States of America. And for that, Mr. President, I am not only grateful, but I will vigorously support this legislation. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Lindy?
Mr. President, my dad was a proud U.S. Army veteran. He was the first veteran that I knew. Never talked about his service because World War II vets didn't do that, and I have never missed a Memorial Day or a Veterans Day. This is important for our veterans and important for our future to give them a statement thanking them for their service.
Okay, with that, I will take a motion.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motioned and seconded.
I'll close the hearing.
Okay, I will close the hearing. The time is 7:43. I do have a motion. Councilor Spagone, seconded by Dr. Perry. And I will, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, passes 9-0. Moving on to General Ordinance D FY 25-020, adoption of Clause 22J of Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 59, Section 5, HERO Act. I will take a motion to amend.
Motion to amend, Mr. President?
I'll second,
Councilor,
and I'd like to be the sponsor.
sure.
Mr. President, I would like to sponsor this since I was the original sponsor of both I and J.
Okay, let's
originally.
take a vote on Councilor Lindy, and then we'll take a
I'll
vote on
withdraw.
Council.
I'll let her,
You'll
unless
withdraw?
I can co-sponsor. I mean,
I think we could have 2 names on it.
Mr. President, as a point of order, I think the amendment itself should pertain the individual's name who's going to go on. So if the amendment is made, I think it should be amended to show this specific counselor's name on there as a complete amendment, instead of a different votes on different people.
So,
I'll withdraw. I'll let Mary if she was the original.
so Councilor Spagone made the motion.
And I
Councilor
second.
Lindy seconded. Council's
Motion for Mary.
motion for Mary.
Yeah, we'll leave it.
Okay.
So we're leaving that amendment, and then we make a new motion for the name on there.
No, I think that motion then should be reflected on the general ordinance once it's amended. So
Okay.
the motion to amend is the motion to amend by replacing the current sponsor, Johnny Loretti, with Mary. That's the current motion. Once that's voted on, that amendment would go into the ordinance, right? It won't be in there today, but inevitably, it would be in the ordinance if voted on, and then you would just vote the ordinance.
Okay, so when we make a motion to amend, we should just clarify what we're amending.
Yes.
Yes, correct.
Please.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to have Councilor McGrath's name as a sponsor for the legislation. All those in favor?
Aye.
9-0. Okay, I will open this public hearing. The time is 7:45. I will note that the public hearing was advertised in the 421 Enterprise and on the town website. First, I will ask if there are any general questions from the public. Seeing none, I will ask if anyone in the public wishes to speak in favor of this legislation. Seeing none, I will ask if anybody from the public would like to speak in opposition. Seeing none, I'll ask if the council has any questions or comments.
Comment, Mr. President.
Council Spigot.
I believe, similar to 22I, I think we should vigorously support this one simply because of the fact that it is a good measure for our veterans and for those who have served this country, and I think we owe them a debt we cannot possibly begin to repay. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Council Kennedy.
Thank you. I also want to thank the veterans, especially those in attendance tonight, for showing up to support this in person. I really appreciate that, as well as the veterans at home that are watching. I think this is a great thing for us to support. I have vets in my family as well, and things like this I'm very happy to support for veterans and assisting them in being able to afford the homes they live in, and they are a huge benefit to our town. So I also want to I'll reach out again to Scott Pitta for his very detailed explanation as to why this benefits the town and what this does for our veterans, and thank you, Councilor Perry, for reading it.
No problem.
Any other comments from the council?
Thank you. Yes, again, Mr. Pitta's letter very eloquently described everything I could possibly say about it. I'm in strong support of this as well, and just want to thank all the veterans that came here tonight to share their support on it, and we'll get the job done for you.
Okay, at this time, I'll close the hearing at 7:47, and I will take a motion.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Spigot, seconded by Councilor Perry. All those in favor?
Aye.
0. Okay, moving on. Budget Order O FY 27001, FY 2027 Annual Town Budget. So this hearing has been duly advertised in the 421-26 Enterprise and on the town website. All orders relative to the FY 27 budget may be finally voted this evening and are itemized under L, Legislation for Action. Budget and Finance met tonight prior to the town council meeting, and we voted 2-0 to recommend, and the Finance Committee met last evening, and they also voted, I believe it was 6-0 to recommend. I will, at this time, 7:48, open the public hearing on the FY 27 annual budget. And Justin and Lori, any update from you all?
I don't necessarily have an update. I just want to quickly thank the council, the finance committee, but as well as members of the community. As I said when I presented this budget, it was a very difficult budget. I think we highlighted over 30,000 work hours are reduced as part of this budget. So it's a difficult budget, but I appreciate the input that I've received from a variety of people in the community. This is a difficult budget. I appreciate the collaboration with my union groups and our team here. And so I appreciate all of that consideration during this budget process. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll ask if there are any general questions from the public. Would anybody like to ask any questions? Yes.
I just want to, something's got to be done
Do you
about the light system, because
Can you, would you step up to the microphone just so everybody could hear you?
Bring them back. Bring the mic to him. Bring the mic to him.
My name is Louis Elman. I live in Carver Drive in Bridgewater. It's for 60-some odd years, but there's something that has to be done about the microphone. So I can understand the manager here, but the others, the base is just way too. I asked a couple of people over here. They don't know what the hell's going on. That's all I got to say.
Thank you.
Is it that you can't hear us?
I can hear you.
It's a little
It's just
distorted.
about, it's all fast.
Oh,
I think just as a,
It's the base.
it's all about the base.
Here I can hear plainly.
I think just as a reminder to the council, if we could just talk slow and clear on our comments.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public? Okay, sure, go ahead.
Just Johnny Loretti, Black Mallet Road. I just have some general comments about the budget. I know that you all have 45 days to pass this, and I know that both the committees have thoroughly vetted this, but I would encourage you to pause, take your time. There's at least 2 or 3 more weeks before this has to be passed, and I would encourage you all to just really think about all of the cuts that are being proposed. I can appreciate all of the work that has been done and put into the budget, but I personally don't agree with sweeping even cuts across the board. I think that cuts across the board, while in good faith, aren't performance-based, and I think that you need to look at each department and each position as an individual and how it actually performs, as opposed to making general sweeping cuts. There are some departments which generate revenue, which should be acknowledged. There are some departments that provide essential services, such as the library, Council on Aging, veteran services. So to see even cuts across the board, while it may seem fair, I personally would disagree with that. I would like to see a fine-tooth comb be taken over and see where certain dollars can be allocated. A lot of people are looking at, the CED, for example. If you were to reallocate funding from that department, you could pay to level fund the library, Council on Aging, and the Veterans Services Department if you were to make some changes there. There's opportunities, as we discussed during the operational review, to potentially outsource parts of IT, which may provide efficiencies and eventual cost savings, maybe not this year. So I would really just encourage you all to take a look at that. I know that you're going to be voting on the town clerk's salary later as well. That's something that I looked at in depth. This individual does not take health insurance. If they do want to hop on health insurance, that's going to be additional cost. If they get a reduction in salary, there's also money to be generated there from dog licenses, and if you look at those numbers over time, they're double what they were a number of years ago. So I would just encourage you all to take your time, look through everything, and just really think about the impact on what sweeping even cuts across the board, especially when you look at certain department heads aren't taking cuts. So really just pause and take a look. It's a tough time, but I know that you guys are all doing tough work, and I trust you'll make the right decision. Thank you.
Anybody else like to ask questions? This is questions.
Well, this is for questions. Well, he stole my thunder. I kind of agree with everything. Take your time on this. Just like I had said in the beginning, my question is, are you still looking at to eliminate the ACO funding so that we don't have an animal control officer at all in this town at this time? Are you still looking at reducing the funding of the library, which I don't agree with? And there are other things that I see in the budget that I don't agree with. I can appreciate the time involved with that to try to reduce, but a big chunk of that budget is the school. So I really question how we can try to meet in the middle or reduce things. I think the school budget is way out of line, and there's no way with everything else that we have to afford. The school budget is the biggest. So it's not something that we want to necessarily rush into. Cutting across the board, like Mr. Loretti had said, sounds like okay even, but it's not necessarily. So, and I do feel that the CED can be eliminated or unfunded, and some of that money can go. So my question is, can that be done? So I don't know what else to say, but I do support those. Okay, thank you. Janet Hanson, Pleasant Street.
Thank you. Okay, if there are no further questions, and some folks have already spoken, but if there are anybody from the public that would like to speak in favor of the budget? Nope. Anybody that would like to speak in opposition of the budget? Seeing none, I will open it up to the council for any questions, comments.
I'd like to make a comment.
Start with Councilor
Okay,
Lindy.
fine.
Stand first.
I think I've been on record all the way along about the library. I do not want to risk the funding for certification so our patrons cannot borrow from other communities. And I think the hours could be shifted. There is an independent elected Board of Library Trustees that are dealing with that. I wish we can cut budgets. I wish we could open at 10 o'clock in the morning and take those 5 hours and move them to Saturday. So the majority of the taxpayers that work in Boston, that come home and commute, that might have 90 minutes a day, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, to use their public library, would have an additional at least 10 to 2 on Saturday. That's just my thought. I was a library trustee for 23 years in another community, and we hit hard budget times, and we found a way. We got a grant from the U.S. Department of Justice. They were going to close our branches, and we got grant money to open and keep them open. There's different ways to look at it. I know they've looked at it. I know they have minimal staff. The Council on Aging figured out a way to stay open the 5 days a week. I'd like to see if we could do that with the library. I also think that that money could come from CED, and I also think our town clerk, for the 3 elections that she will have to run, should be compensated, not just be a department head and when the other members of that department can be paid for that. I know our former clerk did it. I know our current clerk did it. I just think that's a lot of work, that type of a 16-hour day. So those are just my 2 comments. And generally in favor of the budget. I don't particularly like across-the-board cuts, but I realize why it had to happen the way it happened. A lot of work was put into it by Budget and Finance, the Finance Department, the town manager, and I do want to act on it. I don't want to see us end up with a joint town meeting between 2 towns.
Councilor Spigot.
Yes, Mr. President, thank you. First and foremost, I would like to extend my appreciation to my former colleagues on the Finance Committee. I know that they dove into this work as well and took time to give considerations and contemplation to the budget that is before us tonight. I appreciate that they were able to take a vote last night and give us their advice. So now we have their advice in hand. So to my former colleagues, thank you very much, and I will miss you. But in addition, Mr. President, I will note that I share Councilor Lindy's appreciation for the Bridgewater Public Library and the Senior Center as well. I know that those would be 2 departments that would be heavily impacted by any specific budgetary cuts. The library is a resource for the community, a place that both I and my wife go to on occasion to either borrow books or to do research or to just meet with folks to sit down and read. It is troubling that, they're facing the possibility of being de-accredited, and I think that it would be a very grave disservice to see that happen. I personally would like to see at least some minor adjustment in the budget, insofar as it doesn't prevent us from going forward with what we have right now. This budget was built under very difficult circumstances, and to the town manager, credit is where credit is due. You did what you could so far. It's now in our hands to make a final determination on it. But again, I do want to express that I agree with Councilor Lindy that there should be some movement of funds from one line item to at least another to at least support at minimum those 2 departments, but also further onto the town clerk's salary. This would be the 2nd year that the town clerk office would get another salary decrease for the town clerk's position. Last year, the Finance Committee agreed on reducing it from $93,000 to $89,000, and then this year is a reduction to $79,000. I'm certainly concerned that her salary got such a cut. That was originally a 5% cut. Now it basically amounts to being a 15% cut. So there might be some wiggle room to do an adjustment there, but I also understand that she's going to need to do additional work for the elections. So we do need to take that into consideration. But other than that, right now, I would say if we can do some adjustments and have further discussion tonight on this, I would be appreciative of it. Thank you, Mr. President.
May I speak now?
I'm going to go to...
Still wait? Okay.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Yes, in regard to this, I think the budget has been very nicely worked. However, I would like to propose something that this council seems to be aiming towards, that the community and economic development be reduced by 50%, and the 50% distributed to the library and the town clerk. I don't happen to have the numbers available, but I would like to make that motion that CED be reduced by 50%, 25% going to the library, 25% going to the town clerk, excuse me. I guess there's no second for that motion, huh?
I'll second for discussion, but I'm not sure.
I believe you're still in the public hearing.
Yeah, we're still in
right? So
environment,
there
yeah.
hasn't even been a motion to
Yeah.
approve the budget
Right,
yet.
We're just taking
So-
any questions from the council.
Yeah, so
Okay.
once there's a motion to approve the budget and that motion to approve has been seconded, you can make motions to amend the budget at that time.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anything further, Councilor Adler? All set?
No more comments from me now.
Councilor
Okay.
Hunt?
I'd just like to say a few things. As a former town employee here, I know that an enormous amount of time and effort has gone into creating this budget. Way more time than any one of us has spent even thinking about it. It's very, very difficult. The employees who work here are incredible and do a great job. And if they are saying this is how it should go, I think this is how it should go. I'm not here all the time anymore looking at what's going on or what's happening or who needs what, but I know the people who created this budget are. They know what's happening, they know what's needed, and I think we ought to be listening to them. So if the head of the library says that they're going to do it the way they're going to do it, then that's how I think they ought to do it. If they need to talk with the town manager and rearrange things, then they should do that. But I don't know that that's our right and our prerogative. I really don't. I don't feel that it's mine.
Okay, before we go on with comments, just because we're just taking questions from the council and then we're going to motion and discuss after the fact, but I just want to make sure there are no questions from the councilors before we move and close the hearing. Okay, so I will close the hearing at this time. And then I will take a motion and we can further discuss if we'd like.
So moved.
Second.
A motion to recommend.
The budget, yes.
Motion to approve and seconded by Councilor Spagone. Okay, any other additional comments on the budget itself?
Thank you,
Councilor
Mr.
McGrath.
President. So I think, us being on the finance, I think we've met every single week of this month to go over it, asked every single question, met with the Finance Committee also. I know we're talking about the CD, but we need revenue, and we need to bring in commercial. So we need that position filled. No one else is going to do it but that department. You can't leave Shane by himself. It's too much with all the stuff that's being planned and going on and already in the thing. And as for we went over this about the IT. The police chief spoke at our finance committee saying that it wouldn't be, I can't remember exact words, but they're so dependent on our IT department 24 hours a day because they always have computers. So we've discussed those issues. I think we've discussed almost all the issues that have been brought up, even the senior center. I mean, as much as we want to. The woman who does outreach is now down to 30 hours. So I know we want the library, but I don't think the governor will discredit us because we have less hours because of our budget. So I feel the budget's fine for going forward. I can't pit one department against another. The town manager, he gives the evaluations to his employees, otherwise they wouldn't get a step. So I think we should leave it to the town manager. Those are his employees. He knows what's best that he needs to run this town. Thank you.
Any other comments? Councilor Perry?
Thank you. I agree with Council McGrath. A lot of work and effort has gone into balancing all the numbers of this budget. I believe if you start shifting monies from one place to another place, you're going to create a trickle-down effect that could be somewhat disastrous for some departments. Whatever's been set up at this point in time, it's in the best interest of the town. We brought in Mr. Casanova Davis because of his expertise in budgeting and his history working in other communities with budgeting. So I definitely defer to his expertise in this and would strongly recommend that we pass as written. Again, it's been reviewed by Budget and Finance, and they've approved as written. So I would encourage the council to do the same.
Councilor Kennedy?
Thank you. First, I want to thank the town manager and Lori from Finance for putting all the work in on this. I know there was a huge gap at the beginning of this process, and the amount of work that was put in to achieve what we have right now was quite a bit of work. I do, for the town employees that are going to take hourly cuts, I'm sorry that you are, and I wish that wasn't the case, but I think with the budget being where it's at now, unfortunately, with the sizable gap that we started with, that's just unfortunately what we have for available money to pay for what we have in town. A few comments about the across-the-board cuts. I spoke with the town manager about some of these issues that were brought up tonight, and there is, we have to respect bargaining groups in our town. There's other aspects at play here in moving parts. So I also had the same question, and we discussed that, and I felt comfortable with his response on those. I share a similar concern with the town clerk's position. We have a separate legislation for action on here to specifically vote on that. So I'll hold my comments for that legislation for action. But the library is also an important piece. My family uses the library all the time. But again, I think with the amount of cuts that we have to make, I don't want to see it discredited, but I know that we're in a tough spot. To touch on the CED department, a lot of people, I think, are we may be misunderstanding what the CED department has the capability of. Did my mic die?
Yeah.
Test? No, we're back now. All right. The CED department, it is an important part for towns. I spoke with the town manager about this quite a bit, and I just want to have people keep in mind there's different opinions on the individual that's been there for a while, but that doesn't mean that the department itself isn't important. We need commercial growth in our town. We need to increase commercial growth specifically because it doesn't use the other services that we have in town. It does not use the schools, the fire, and the police department as much as residential building does. And we need to have that position available to bring someone in for finding commercial that doesn't tax our town, as well as additional grants. That position has brought in grants over the last few years, and obviously we are in a budget shortfall here. We can take any grant money we can get. So I'm going to be in favor of moving this forward myself in its current state, and I hope most of my councilors feel the same.
Councilor Lindy?
Just want to reiterate, I'm not trying to tell the library what to do. I just think we could be creative and look at it. We will lose accreditation. There is no question in my mind that we will lose it. We will lose about $80,000 to go with it. It's probably one of the most efficient departments in town. And I do not think the taxpayers of this town should pay for something that they can't use. That's it.
Any other comments from the council?
Yes, I'd just like to ask, the CED director is currently gone. Is that correct, Mr. Town Manager?
I'm not going to, in terms of direct personnel adjustments, I think if you look at the budget, next fiscal year, we will have a different CED director.
Yes, and my point being that we don't have a CED director at this time, so there would be a lapse of time and thus potentially a savings on that line item. And thus we can move some of the money to other budgets, I was thinking, because that position is not currently occupied.
I think if you look at my budget, if you look at the budget that I presented, that salary for the CE director is already lower than what was budgeted initially in the previous fiscal year. My intent is, if the council moves forward with that budget, I'm going to advertise the position. I want to move forward with it. So I don't necessarily agree with your logic, Councilor Ellenberg, because I did already make adjustments to the budget already.
Thank you.
All right, I'll wrap it up quickly, back to what I do best, talking. And I'll say this. I think, folks should realize that this is not a sustainable budget for our town. It wasn't last year, and we're continuing down this path of, having to make cuts and cutting back salaries for folks or hours for folks, cutting certain departments, losing hours at some of our most vital, critical services that we offer to the town. And so citizens and town council, we need to make a decision this year. Is this the direction we're going to continue to head in? Because the state isn't going to come and help us. The federal government isn't going to come and help us. Bridgewater needs to set the path for ourselves and we need to decide what it's going to look like going forward. And so I say that by asking you all to get involved, join the Finance Committee. There are current openings. Speak to your town councilors. Show up to a Budget and Finance Committee meeting throughout the year. Just be an active participant because the work starts now for FY28, and we want to make sure that we are incorporating citizens' feedback and thoughts now so that when this conversation happens again next year, we can better address that in the way that our citizens want us to move forward. So that's what I'll say to folks. I know that, chairing Budget and Finance Committee meetings this year, a small handful of folks showed up. It was never really a packed room. It was never really, I would say, a heated conversation or debate. But I would love to see that moving forward because this is probably the most important thing that we do as a council or we do as a town. So that's my plea to get involved and to start now for FY28 so that we can start putting ourselves back on the path that we want to be on in Bridgewater. And so with that, I will do a vote, and we have
Ask for a roll call vote, please.
Yes, we could do a roll call vote.
This is to approve the budget as it currently is without any amendments.
Yes, the motion's been made and seconded.
Okay, and when can I make an amendment?
She wants to make amendments, so there's no.
You can now?
Okay,
Yeah.
I can make an amendment now, all right. I would like to change the total community economic development and cut it by 50% and assign that 50% to the 25% to the library and 25% to town clerk.
Point of clarification. What would be that number?
Is it possible to get that number?
Sorry, I didn't hear. Did you ask, what was the
Now,
question?
Would it be possible to get numbers on what Council Ellenberg just
Yeah,
amended?
if 50% of 252, 669, so it's going to be 120, it's 252, 669.
Okay, the motion to amend is on the table. Is there a second?
I'll second for discussion.
Council Lindy seconds for discussion. Any discussion by the council? Councilor Spigot?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I appreciate your amendment offer, Ms. Ellenberg. Would it be more prudent to actually instead, because that department is vital for bringing in business into town, the 50% figure, is it possible just to remove the funding for a specific position? Is that what you would be more looking for, or would that be more prudent? I feel that would probably be a better course of action, since we do have two very good staffers in that office that do a great general amount of work, and I've managed to work with at least one of them when I was on the planning board as an associate member, so all due credit to them as well, but there is another staffer in that office. I would hate to see those two have their salaries cut as part of that 50%.
I don't know if that was a comment or a question, but
Yes, would the existing employees be cut if CED was cut by 50%? The existing employees in the department, as MJ has raised.
I mean, yes.
Why, what are their salaries now?
Do you have the budget packet in front of you?
Yes, I do.
If you look on page 37, that gives an outline of the budget of the CED department.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so I guess my motion stands, and it's been seconded, and I guess,
any further comments or questions on that motion, Doctor?
Yes, I would definitely recommend against that. 125,000 would be pretty devastating to that particular department. Because again, in the new budget, without hiring a new CED director, that would leave Shane as a town planner by himself. And again, you'd still have to cut into potentially his salary as well. So the numbers on this does not work, so I would not be supporting it.
Councilor McGrath?
Yeah, I don't support it. I want to get a good CDC, so I want to have some kind of, salary that we can compete and not just someone sent out the door. the position our town's in right now. We need someone with experience, and we need to focus on commercial, so we need a couple employees in that place.
I would just like to make a comment. I feel as like I spoke on against cutting the library, but we're all sitting here talking about what's good for the library, but we don't have any input from the library. Like, if we just throw them money and what are they going to do? Like, is it enough to hire a person? Is it like, we don't know really how we're allocating it. So as of right now, I'm not in favor of this amendment. I know it's coming in good faith, but I just don't feel comfortable, based on our financial situation, to move this type of money around without real input from the people who it's going to affect. Thank you.
Any further comments on the amendment? Council Lindy?
I have a question. Is there any way to do any kind of a mid-year adjustment on the budget?
Yeah, certainly. I think it would be an appropriation, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
So comment, a mid-year adjustment could in fact remedy the situation?
When you say remedy the situation, elaborate a little bit
Well,
for me.
like monies coming in from revenue in general would be able to fill a gap if there was short earlier in the year.
Potentially. I think it's obviously a mid-year adjustment. For example, will give you, the council made the decision to fund the fire department a little bit further, ambulance reserve receipts. So you can definitely take a look at that. Now, do I think this is going to be a significant source of revenue in the middle of the year where you say remedy? I don't know if you're referencing the budget entirely or a specific department, but yes, there potentially could be. I can't tell you right now.
I meant remedy the CED department with a mid-year adjustment, since people seem to not be favoring this.
I'll let the council determine that. I would just, a couple of things, just so we're all on the same page here. In the CED department, there are already some changes there. The assistant town planner is not being funded by that position. Essentially, you're removing $126,000 from the budget. Very minimal part of that budget is in expenses. It's in salaries. You have a conservation agent, you have assistant town planner, you have the CED director as well. So
Okay.
you would have some impact on multiple employees in that department.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to move to roll call vote if I could.
Can I ask a question?
Just have a comment as well.
My question is, Councilor Trocchio brought this up about the library. We actually do have the library director here. I don't know if he could be asked that question and we could get that answered, because it's my understanding that the state aid is based on open hours and materials purchased. And the certification isn't just the $80,000 goes out the window. The borrowing privileges, all Bridgewater residents will only be limited to what they can borrow in the town. So I don't know if it's out of order to ask that our library director be able to respond. He is an employee of the town manager, so I don't want to do anything incorrectly.
He could speak.
So I have no problem with you asking in terms of borrowing certification, but ultimately the town manager is not the library director that determines hiring and so forth. So I don't want him to speak to that. But before you do, I don't mind Jed speaking to that. But I have said, and I think I have advocated, I know Rep. Gallagher is here, I've spoken with Senator Driscoll, the notion of decertification, there's a concern regarding that, but I am on the MMA Fiscal Policy Committee. A lot of communities are going through this path as well. And we've already advocated to the administration, to our elected bodies, and I said it when I presented the budget, shame on them if they do decertify a litany of communities who are reducing hours. Some of them have proposed closing the library completely as well. So I know there's concern about it. We will advocate to see that that doesn't occur.
Are you okay with that?
I disagree respectfully. I think we will be decertified. And we will not have borrowing privileges where the other town and the taxpayers can't use the library for more than about 3 hours a week.
Okay, I'm going to go to Councilor Kennedy for his comment.
I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page. We're voting on the amendment to cut CED by 50% and allocate 25 and 25 to two other departments, if that's where we're at, right? Okay.
Correct.
In my opinion, cutting that by 50% is going to go past the CED director's salary and into the CED department, so I'm not going to be in favor of this specific amendment.
Okay, if there are no further comments, we'll take a roll call vote, please, Deb. Or voting on the amendment, just for clarity for folks.
Miss Ellenberg,
Yes.
Miss Pagone,
No.
Miss Hunt,
No.
Mr. Kennedy,
No.
Mr. Murphy?
No.
Dr. Murphy? Mr. Trocchio?
No.
Dr. Perry?
No.
Mr. Lindy?
No?
And Miss McGrath?
No.
1 in favor, 8 opposed.
Okay, moving back to the overall approval for the budget, we do have a motion and a second. Are there any more general comments regarding the budget?
I presume this is for the budget
Approval
as
of the
it's
budget.
presented to us, right? No changes? Thank
Correct.
you.
Okay, with that, I will take, I think we could just do, we'll do a roll call vote, please, Deb.
Miss McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Lindy?
Reluctantly, yes.
Dr. Perry?
Yes.
Mr. Trocchio?
Yes.
Dr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy? Yes. Miss Hunt?
Yes.
Miss Pagone?
Yes, with prejudice.
And Miss Ellenberg?
Yes.
9 in favor, 0 opposed.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to, we have no license transactions this evening. We have no presentation, so we'll move to the town manager report. First being ADA transition plan.
Good evening. I included the ADA transition plan. It's on our website. It's just a notice for our public and obviously our council. The ADA draft transition plan is on our website. That plan was procured to ensure that the town can apply for ADA grants for our facilities. So we encourage our residents to take a look at that plan, provide feedback to our facilities manager and our team that are handling that ADA transition plan.
Any questions for the town manager? Councilman McGrath?
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you to the town manager. In that report, it talked about fire station number 2, and it had some problems. Is that the old fire station, not the new fire station?
No, it's Plymouth Street.
That's a Plymouth Street station.
It's-
Yeah.
It's Plymouth
Chief
Street
Flags
one?
here, yeah. Plymouth Street, yes, but it's not the old fire station, it's not the new fire station.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, seeing no more questions, moving on to the budget earmark requests.
I wanted to expand on the Rep Gallagher at our last meeting, talked about some of the budget earmark requests that I had submitted on behalf of the town and to be able to procure. I want to take an opportunity to thank Rep Gallagher as well as Senator Driscoll for the work that we're doing regarding that. A couple of updates regarding those budget earmark requests. So in terms of the budget for the fiscal year 27 budget, I know we've been able to procure $25,000 for the town common area for more downtown improvements. I know the council has said that's a priority this year, is a priority of our team to do some work there. In addition, some $25,000 for our fire department for some tools that are necessary. In the supplemental bill that was for this past fiscal year, we had advocated for the schools as well as the town common. So we were able to get $250,000 for the Bridgewater School for the water filtration system, as well as another additional $50,000 for the town common. So I think you can see our focus a bit this year is our water, and I'll mention the environmental bond bill, but the focus for me in terms of earmark requests has been our water and wastewater infrastructure, our town common, and our schools. And in terms of additional funding for water infrastructure, collectively, they've been able to collaborate and get an additional $1.5 million, including the environmental bond bill. I put the caveat that the bond bill is aspirational. We will advocate for it. That's what we have our elected representatives for. But until they go out to bond, we won't see that. But our advocacy is working. I appreciate the collaboration there. In addition, the Senate budget was released, and so I'm working with Senator Driscoll to try to secure some additional earmarks in that budget as well.
Any questions? Seeing none, moving on to the water update.
Yep. A little bit further good news about the advocacy of grants. The town finally did get approval from the EPA, working in collaboration with Mass DEP. Obviously, a lot of advocacy. For months, we've been working on a $2 million grant to help fund the work that we're doing at 10A and 10B. I'll have our water superintendent speak to that project to give a quick update regarding that. A lot of that information will be on our water dashboard as well, but I'm happy we got that $2 million. But also to address the question about the filing with Concom. Want to be very clear, that $2 million grant that we got it's only eligible for permanent projects. Initially, it was a temporary project. We thought we transitioned to a permanent project. That's the only way you get that $2 million grant. So this is a permanent project. The filing for Concom is considered interim because it needs to be updated to reflect the full composition of the building there. But it is a permanent project. We've said it multiple times. It's just until that filing is updated, it's interim until the whole composition and the whole framework of the disturbance of the ground is addressed. But it's a permanent project.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good evening to the council. So just to follow up on Justin's talking about Plymouth Street, we have broken ground on the project. The crews have been out daily doing some site work. They have started laying the water pipe itself to the new filtration pads. That will be, one is poured, one was completely poured, and then one is in the process of being getting ready for pouring. PFAS treatment system has been finalized with Apex. We've received all the components. Now we're just working on the actual automation and mechanical work that's being done. Wanted to update you guys as well on the flushing program. We have completed the eastern side of the town of Bridgewater, meaning everything east of Broad Street and east of Bedford Street. Currently at this time, we are going to stop flushing operations. This pause is necessary to the system because of the amount of water flow that we have had in the past couple of months with the fires. We've had multiple main breaks, so we would just want to let the system rest a little bit before we start to flush the east or western side of the town. Other than that, things have been going smoothly. We will continue to work on the water dashboard. That is something that now that has been published. We will continue to work as we receive feedback from our customers and ratepayers.
One other additional item regarding that, I believe for our next town council meeting, what I do plan on doing is presenting an overall budget and also a new loan authorization. I had mentioned this before with the council. Based on where we're at with the $2 million grant, where we are with our expenditures and the purchase of the vessels and where we're at, we'll present that information. So the town council has that. We'll submit a new order for loan authorization. So it'll be a very transparent process, but everything so far is moving on schedule and on time. And we're very pleased with the work that we're doing so far.
Questions? Dr. Perry?
Thank you. Thank you for that report, Bill. So with the flushing that was done on the east side, should we expect for those residents to see any clearing to the brown water out of the faucets?
So, yep, we were actually out there yesterday. We had a main break on Walnut Street, and actually after the main break, we were still on scene, and I was just seeing clear water myself coming out of the fire hydrants, which is a good sign.
Okay. Great. Thank you very much.
Councilor Spigot?
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Young, thank you for coming before us tonight. I did have a quick question. Regarding the amount of water main breaks that we have had, is it a result of the pressure change in the water system with the interconnection with Middleborough, or is it just general age? And additional question to that, are we able to apply for any types of emergency funds for repairing those water mains?
For the first part of the question, there's a lot of variables depending on what time of day it is. For instance, the fire, that creates a demand on the flow and where it is in the system, pulling water in different directions and then pulling water back in the opposite direction through our flushing program and things like that. You're going to start to see some pressure changes. This is also part of why we do a flushing program, is so we identify these issues before we need an emergency situation where we can't access those. So that's all part of that process. The second part, there's a lot of funding that is available. It's just a matter of us being able to go out and get it. I know in 2027, the SRF fund is going to be opening up again for lead service line replacement grants potentially. So that's something that we'll be looking for as we progress.
An additional question, Mr. President. Mr. Young, with the level of issues with the pipes, I recall during the presentation by Apex, there was a reference to the condition of tuberculation in pipes where they start to degrade over time. Was there a survey done of how much tuberculation in the pipes there is that would require cleaning out or could be exacerbating the water main issue?
A little bit, yeah. So it's tough to determine the actual tuberculation in the pipe unless you cut it out and actually see the tuberculation yourself. But that's part of what we're doing with the flushing program, is to try and limit the tuberculation that is developed in those pipes.
And just for clarification, because I use that term, tuberculation is the process by which the pipes begin to create what look like tubules, and they basically start to slowly choke off the pipes, right?
Yes, so it's that combination of that and the oxidized iron from just the chlorine that we put into the system.
Thank you, Mr. No more questions, Mr. President.
Councilor Kennedy?
I also have tuberculation questions. Have you sent cameras down over in Carver?
We actually just took well 5 down yesterday. They're pulling the motor this morning, so we should have an update on that later on this week.
Okay, great. Is the assumption at the re-drilled wells that have kind of maintained the same level of water coming out, that a main component of that is going to be tuberculation found in those pipes?
A little bit, yes.
Okay. That's it.
Any other questions from the council?
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. Young. I had a lot of questions of why we could only do it weekly. We couldn't do it weekly, a water outlet, and only quarterly. So I did, rather than come, bug you, I looked at the roadmap to secure wastewater and our water on the EPA, and it's amazing that our water and our water sewers have to be protected against cyber security. We had a lot of problems during COVID, and so they recommend that the things that you're doing is recommended in that roadmap. So I appreciate that you're following it, and I hope residents check that out and find out why you're doing a lot of things you're doing. So thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Any other comments from the council?
I just have a question. How many water main breaks have we had in, let's say, the last 6 months, the last year?
Since I started, I'd say 6. 6 main breaks, and then you have your individual service lines. Don't quote me on that.
That's
but,
fine.
yeah.
I won't quote you on it, but how much proportion of our water did we lose?
That varies depending on the size of the break and how quickly my guys can get to the scene.
You don't have any estimate of how much we've lost in terms of gallons?
We do what's called an unaccounted for water loss, where we do some calculations the days following once we see what was actually pulled out of the ground and what we were able to put into the storage tanks.
So is the loss of water due to the water mains breaks, is that data readily available?
We're still working on some of it, but yes, that can be available.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions from the council? I'll just ask one very broad question. I think, a lot of folks are probably asking themselves this question, and I know we've talked about it. When wells 10A and 10B come on with the treatment trailers, and we're able to turn off the Middleborough connection, or at least close that for the time being, or permanently going forward, hopefully, are we able to sustain the same amount of water output with that turned off and those wells turned on?
So right now, yes. Right now we are projecting to have the treatment system at Plymouth Street be able to do about 500,000 gallons a day. Right now we're only taking between 200 and 300,000 gallons a day from Middleborough.
Could you say that one more time? Sorry, the numbers.
Yes, so the Plymouth Street wells will hopefully produce about 500,000 gallons a day, and with the Middleborough interconnection right now, we are receiving between 200 and 300,000, depending on how our system is operating at that time.
That's great. Thank you.
I have another question. The vessels that are going to be put on 10A and 10B, are they spoken for the full $2 million of that grant that came in, or can there be any left over to begin the next phase of Vernon Street wells?
The $2 million would be spoken for 10A and 10B. That project, we'll lay out the budget for you at our at that loan authorization, but that project is looking about $6.1 million. You will have $2 million that will be reduced off of that. So we obviously have to account for the other $4 million. But in terms of Vernon Street, et cetera, we are going to apply for a one-stop shop grant. We already did expression of interest for that project. So we're going to be applying for some grant funding regarding that project. So we can see if we can limit the cost that users in the town have to pay for these projects moving forward. We've been very aggressive with that. One other thing I would add, I know there was a question about relief funding. I know Senator Driscoll was here earlier. I just had another conversation with him this afternoon about pursuing relief funding to help pay for the Middleborough expenses of this, and I've talked with Rep. Gallagher about this as well. So we're definitely looking at all avenues of alternative funding sources to minimize the costs on our users that utilize this system and do the work that we need to do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further topics for the town manager for a future meeting? Don't need to do it at this time, but. Councilor Kennedy?
Just a general request, if we could just update the website to show our current committee statuses, how many vacancies there are and things like that, so we can start putting that out maybe on social media ourselves, or maybe the town could, just to signal to the residents what we have for openings and what we're looking for help with.
Councilor McGrath?
Thank you, Mr. President. I just have one question. So the BSU has their own police department. Do you think the BSU could have their own fire department? I mean, I don't know how often our fire department goes there, the ambulance and all that, besides the revenue we get for ambulances.
Save that for another conversation.
Well, I figured you talked to Mr. Clark.
I can follow up with you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, I'm going to move on. Moving on to item J, discussions. We have none. Item K, committee reports. We have none, but we will reorganize. And so I'll follow up with the council following this meeting to reorganize our committees. And we'll hopefully announce those by the next town council meeting. So we'll move on to L, legislation for action. The first one we have is Budget Order O, FY27-002, FY27 Water Enterprise Fund. So I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Second.
By Councilor Spagone, seconded by Councilor Hunt. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
9-0. Moving on to Budget Order O, FY27-003, FY27 Sewer Enterprise Fund. I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Councilor Spagone, seconded. Councilor Perry, any discussion? Seeing none.
Mr. President?
Yes,
Just,
sorry.
do we know the dispositions of budget and finance on
Oh,
those
yes.
issues?
Thank you. Yes, Budget and Finance voted 2-0 this evening to recommend, and the Finance Committee voted, is it 6-0, Deb? Is that what we're going with? I think it was 6-1 on this? I think water was 6-0. Okay. So I'll go back to the vote. Thank you, Dr. Perry.
No problem.
All those in favor?
Aye.
9-0. Okay, moving on to Budget Order O, FY27-004, FY27 Transfer Station Enterprise Fund. Town Council, Budget and Finance of the Town Council voted 2-0. Finance Committee, I believe, voted 6-0. Any discussion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
9-0. Moving on to Budget Order O, FY27-005, Authorization of Revolving Funds. Town Council voted 2-0 this evening in the Budget and Finance, and the Finance Committee voted 6-0 to recommend.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Good luck, Debbie. All those in favor?
Aye.
Just kidding. It was Councilor Kennedy. Order O, FY26-057, Acceptance of Grant, Department of Energy and Resources, Green Communities Division. Budget and Finance voted 3-0 to recommend at the 4/21/26 meeting, and the Finance Committee voted 6-0 to recommend. Take a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
9-0. Moving on to Order O, FY26-061, Town Clerk Salary. Budget and Finance Committee met this evening and voted 2-0 to recommend. Finance Committee voted last evening, and they voted 6-0, 5-0, 1 abstain. And I will take a motion.
Motion for discussion, Mr. President?
Second for discussion.
Seconded, and discussion. Comments from the councilors?
Why did the Finance Committee?
I'll take Councilor Kennedy first.
Sorry.
I'd like to make an amendment to this. Again, this was brought up already this evening, but We did cut the step from this position last year, and then we are including an additional cut this year due to hourly changes and our current budget. What I'd like to do is put back in the step that would be removed this year for this. So it would be a 2.5 step based on this. Would increase the salary by $1,990, and the total salary would then be $81,609. And to move that, to move that money after approving a budget, it would end up being a fiscal year budget adjustment, so that wouldn't touch what we just voted on immediately.
Second.
Seconded. Any additional discussion on that amendment? Councilor
Yeah,
McGrath?
why did we, can I get refreshed why we cut that step?
From, sorry.
I'm just going to clarify from last year. You were
Yeah, from
asked.
last year.
At the time, the budget was looking at different cities and towns and trying to find comps and things like that, and we had just had an override fail. So the step was cut from that position. That was essentially the argument that was used at that time. I believe it was either the end of May or the beginning of June when we did it. The order itself also came a bit later than, I guess, when it's generally heard on. That was prior to me being on in previous years, but at the time, that was the reasoning for cutting the step itself.
So it was based on what other towns do with their town clerk?
No, there was actually, I wasn't in the discussions in the budget and finance, but from the discussions we had at the council, it was difficult to find comps. So it was a hard time finding a one-to-one comp, and a lot of towns don't release that information publicly for what their town clerks are paid. So instead of cutting it or increasing it, it was essentially removing the step is what we all settled on at that
So the
time.
previous town clerk had a step
There's steps in it, yeah.
for the previous town clerk?
The town clerk's position in general has step increases,
Oh, okay, thank you.
and then a COLA increase as well. So we cut the step and kept the COLA at that time.
Okay, I couldn't remember. Thank you.
I'll ask just a question of Councilor Kennedy. You'd mentioned an FY adjustment after the fact. Would that come from the town clerk department?
That would be through a discussion with the town manager, where that money would be adjusted from at a later date.
I don't know if you have any additional comments.
Yeah, it
on
would
that.
have to be a supplemental appropriation that come from the town manager.
Do you know likely where that money would come from? I mean, because it's going to happen relatively soon after we just passed a budget, so.
I'll follow up with you. You passed the budget, so either you're gonna take it from a reserve or, but there's a variety of ways you can navigate that. But
Right.
I mean, I'll put it this way. I know that we're going to be looking at hiring a CED director, but if that takes a few months, that's additional months that position is going unpaid. And a 2.5% at this salary rate is under $2,000. So I would anticipate that money will be there for funding.
Any additional comments on that amendment?
Just point of information. So on our sheet here, we have it's listed as annually $79,297. In the budget as approved, it's listing it as $79,619. What would be the accurate number through you, Mr. President, to the town manager?
want to speak to it? Well, I would use the budget number.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that number would be $79,619.
The number has an extra 8 hours because of when you budget a salary, you have 52 weeks is usually a regular annual salary, but when you're looking at budgets, we actually budget for the actual days in the week in the fiscal year. So it's like a 0.2, so it's an extra day's worth inside the budget. Doesn't mean they're getting more pay annually, it's just how it's in the budget.
Thank you.
Councilor McGrath?
Just one more thing. I understand we cut it, but I just don't think this is the year to put it back in.
Any additional comments on the amendment before we take a vote? Okay, Dr. Perry.
Just again, in the town clerk department, there are a number of line items, and I'm sure, potentially halfway through the fiscal year, some of those numbers, may be adjusted. So for the amount looking, it might be something that could be pulled within the town clerk's total budget. It would be the hope, but again, we don't have confirmation on that. Just looking for potential places where the money could be found.
Okay, we'll move to a roll call vote. Debbie, if we could.
Could you repeat exactly what we're voting on?
I'll ask Councilor Kennedy to just reiterate.
We are voting on to increase, based on this 2.5%, which is going to be a $1,990 increase, which would be a 2.5% step increase, totaling $81,609 based on my math, but I know we just had a discussion on that. So it's increasing it by 2.5%. If we want to, is that going to line up correctly? Sorry, through you, Mr. President, to the town manager, is that lining up correctly?
81,609?
Yeah.
81,609 is 2.5%.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So it would increase where we are currently right now from 79,297 to 81,609.
Okay, thanks.
Before we vote, could I ask one more question to clarify? So all our employees are getting 1.5%, and we're giving our town clerk a 2.5%?
We are giving her the step. So their COLAs and steps are separate. So she's taking a pay, so for that position position is taking a pay cut like everyone else is. But that town clerk position would be maintaining its step, which the employees are also maintaining due to their contracts. Unless they have opted out of a step increase.
Yeah.
She is in fact getting a COLA increase as well in here. She got the increase and then the hours were deducted. Just to clarify as well too. So she did get 1.5%, and then I sponsored it to reduce it in line with the rest of the employees. And then of what I reduced, Councilor Kennedy is offering a 2.5% step.
Yes, which is in line with the step for that position.
Back to the roll call vote, please, Debbie.
Ms. Ellenberg,
Yes.
Ms. Pagone,
Yes.
Ms. Hunt,
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy,
Yes.
Dr. Murphy,
Yes.
Mr. Trocchio,
Yes.
Dr. Perry,
Yes.
Mr. Lindy,
Yes.
and Ms. McGrath.
Yes.
9 in favor, 0 opposed.
Okay, so going back for a motion to approve the overall budget as amended with the new number of 81,609, represents a 2.5% step increase on that original salary. I have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Seconded. We'll just do all those in favor.
Aye.
9-0. Any opposed?
Who seconded that?
Councilor
did.
Hunt.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to new business, Resolution R FY 26-014, restoration of the former town hall, AKA townhouse. I'll defer to Councilor Ellenberg if you'd like to introduce.
Thank you. This is an attempt to try to start to restore our town common. And the reason why this is being targeted, the townhouse, is because it is a historic landmark. And being a historic landmark, it is available for additional funds and grants and so forth. The voters recently voted that citizens can become part of an ad hoc council, an ad hoc committee. And so I was asking for citizens who are enthusiastic about getting townhouse recomposed and reused and made into something which is fiscally responsible, whereas the town just owns it now and it's just sitting there. In any case, I had discussion with another counselor as to whether it should be a citizen group or within CED. So I think I would like to defer this to the next meeting and consult with counselors as to making an amendment that would go to CED.
Okay, would you like to make a motion to
I
continue?
would just be careful when you say consult with counselors, because I want to make sure we don't violate the open meeting law. So that discussion's probably more appropriately had here, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Just for your sake, I'm just thinking that there could be an issue.
Well, yes, the consultation was simply for an amendment that instead of a council-derived committee of citizens, it will be a council-level committee with CED.
I have no issue with what you want to talk about. My only advice to you would be that you have that discussion either now or you continue it, and then you have that discussion in an open meeting.
Could we ask that it be done at a CED meeting and then brought back to the council?
I mean, if this gets referred to a CED, then sure, you can discuss whatever you want.
So would it be possible to refer it to CED whenever the new CED is created? Is that possible?
I will second that motion.
Just point of order, I don't believe we have a clear motion. Yeah, okay. I'm going to make a motion to postpone this resolution order until our next regularly scheduled meeting, and then we'll be able to go from there.
Second.
Next scheduled meeting of the town council.
Of the town
That's the
council.
motion.
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Lindy, so we're voting on to continue it to the next town council meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Yes, I'm opposed.
Okay, 8 in favor, 1 opposed. We will continue to the next town council meeting. Okay, moving on to citizen comments. Due to Massachusetts open meeting law requirements, discussions will not take place during public comment periods. If appropriate, responses to questions and concerns will be given by the town manager at a future town council meeting. Anyone may comment for up to 3 minutes at this time.
Janet Hanson, Pleasant Street. Just as far as the last item you were talking about, I think residents should be involved and not just have it CED. I wasn't quite understanding what you were getting to, but I'd hate to see it just be CED. And I just had a question for what Mr. Young had said as far as wells 10A and B. It's going before the Concom next week. But unless I misunderstood or misheard him, it sounded like he was saying that they're already laying the pipes, already putting down the pads, but I don't understand how they can be doing that if it hasn't been approved or recommended by Concom yet. You know, that shouldn't be being done at all until Concom, because there's wetland there, and the proper way is to wait for the Concom to say yay or nay or make their recommendations before any work is done. So unless I misunderstood, I don't know if anybody else noticed that, but he said that they've already started, and I don't know how you can, it should be cease and desist until you get the okay. So I just want to make sure of that, because what's the point of having it go through Concom if you're just going to just go ahead and do whatever you want? So that's all I had, but I would say not to just have it CED. But thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Hanson. Anybody else? Okay. Yep. Thank you.
Gina Gasconi, Ball Avenue. First, congratulations to everyone, and I wish you the best of luck this year. You have your work cut out for you. I thought, after all my years being involved with the town government, that I knew the budget process. What was approved tonight is etched in stone. Can it be changed? Like if the school comes back and says, we can't live with this? So that's my question. Because it just seems like this whole budget process was much quicker than in other years. I know the town manager's office and the finance department has put together a great budget, but my question again, is it etched in stone? If it's not, I agree with Councilor Lindy that our library faces severe cuts, losing accreditation. I know Justin said he's looked into it. We've almost lost accreditation a number of years ago. I wouldn't want to see that again. So I hope the budget's not etched in stone. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Eric Christensen, South Drive. I also was surprised if this was the budget approval meeting, that the new counselors didn't have much voice in it. I was like, okay. If it's etched in stone, that I have the same concern Gina has. Anyway, that's it. Thank you.
Seeing no more public comments, we will move to counselor comments, and I will start with Counselor Ellenberg.
Thank you. First, I want to say congratulations to those who won and those who were reelected. Thank you for the citizens for coming out. It's always wonderful to see citizens involved in our process. And that's all.
Thank you. Counselor Spagone.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for that as well, Ms. Ellenberg. I appreciate that. I do actually want to say a couple of things tonight, so I kind of prepared something. First, before I do, I want to acknowledge my dad's in the front row there, so thanks for coming, Chief. I call him that just because he's like impressionable individual in my life, and he's been very important to helping me, do a lot of stuff in the community and like push me along to do stuff. So he's sort of been like the chief of the department of keeping MJ on task on things in my youth. So thank you again.
Shadow counselor?
No, not now. That was back in college. So I will note, dear neighbors and friends, first, thank you for all being here this evening. It means a great deal to see all of you here for my first ever town council meeting. It's different on the other side of the table, yes. The importance of this moment and its solemnity are not lost on me. Being in public service is not for the faint of heart. It is a weighty mantle of responsibility which can be difficult, frustrating, and yes, even maddening to a point. But I have dedicated my adult life to this work because despite those descriptors, it is a cause worth engaging. The work must be done. I believe in making Bridgewater better, and this is the start of a new chapter where we can make that happen together. Because this is your town council, your town government, and you made it clear you wanted me to be a part of the work to secure our collective future. On April 25th, our community heard loud and clear that a change was needed and that my colleagues and I cannot do it on our own. I ask that you all remain involved. Share freely your views, your ideas, and insights. This is going to be a community effort, and we must carry forward with that in mind. This is your community, and you have made me your newest voice. And I thank you very much for giving me the opportunity and your trust. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Counselor Hunt.
Yes, I was just going to say welcome, Mr. Trocchio and Ms. Spagone. We're glad to have you here, and thank you for being back here, President. Nice. Very happy for you. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Counselor Hunt. Counselor Trocchio.
I'd just like to say thank you to everyone that turned out to vote. I really look forward to serving in this capacity. I look forward to serving with everybody here on the council. And congratulations, Mr. Murphy, Dr. Murphy, on your presidency, and to our new vice president. But I really look forward just to learning and making the best decision possible. So thank you.
Councilor Perry.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, echoing the same sentiments, congratulations to Councilor Spagone and Councilor Trocchio. Look forward to working with you both. Congratulations to Dr. Murphy on your presidency and to Mr. Kennedy for being vice president. Again, a lot of work ahead to do as a council. Again, we pass a big hurdle tonight, passing a budget. As we know, it's not a very big budget. It's $86 million, as I mentioned many times in the past. That number is very small for a town of our size. And again, it's a process of trying to fund as many things as possible with not enough money in the bucket to do so. So the town manager, again, to his credit, along with the staff, did the best they can to fund everything as best as possible. And we'll do the best we can to sustain those services to the best of our ability. And again, I don't want to see services lost or libraries decertified. It just speaks to the fact that the town needs more revenue. And at some point in time, those conversations going to be had that, as mentioned before by our president, you know, we as a town determine what we spend our money on, and if we do want to have these services or continue to have these services, we might need to take some action to put some more money into the bucket to pay for these services. So keep that in mind as we go forward, and if you do see services being lost or libraries being closed more than you want to see, or other, you know, places in town being closed, keep that in mind when we bring it up down the line that we might need to bring forward something called an override. Outside of that, again, thanks for everyone coming out tonight, and look forward to working with the new council as constructed. Thank you.
Councilor Lundy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to do a thank you to our two newly elected councilors and my colleague Paul Murphy for being reelected along with myself. I get forgotten in the loop. And thank you to the new leadership of the town council. I'll pledge to work with you. I just want everybody here at the table to remember the people that we report to are the citizens that either elected or re-elected us. That's who we always have to keep in mind no matter what. I don't particularly consider myself smarter than any of the people that live in this town. We all want to see a good town, and looking forward to another 3 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Lundy. Councilor
Thank you,
Morad.
Mr. President. Congratulations, Mr. President and Vice President. I'm glad to be sitting here and taking a break from that. Flag football started, and I watched the games on Saturday at the middle school. It's a great sport for all kids, and if your kid's not sure what it's sport, you should really go check it out. It's really made for all the kids. And Mr. Paul Medeiros, the president and CEO of Easter Sales, was my guest on my podcast. Easter Sales partners with the Bridge Center here in Bridgewater. The Bridge Center offers so many programs for children, adults, and veterans of all abilities, and I really encourage everyone to go down to take a tour and really find out about it. It was really interesting. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Kennedy.
Thank you to the public for coming out to put your input in for the meeting. It's appreciated. I want to welcome our new councilors on board and our returning councilors as well. I want to thank the council for your vote of confidence, and I want to congratulate our new president. So thank you.
Thank you. I just have a couple of quick thank yous. Thank you again to the Fire for Effect Foundation for holding their First Responders Day. I actually wasn't able to make it over there, but I've heard great things from folks that were able to get over there. I was at the election, and thank you to our town clerk's office for all your work that goes into the election, but also for your help tonight and this evening as well too. I know that's a lot for you and your staff, and to all the volunteers that gave up their time to be there and help us execute that election. So I just want to thank those folks for that as well too. And then finally, I just wanted to thank the 4th of July committee. I know they have a lot of great events coming up, especially over the next couple of months. I think there's a hockey game coming up this weekend between Bridgewater Fire and Bridgewater Police. Seems like a really great idea and an exciting event to attend. So thank you to them, and please go out and support their events as much as possible. It's such a great event, and it's completely volunteer, and they raise the money to put on that great show and give Bridgewater that opportunity. It's a big year with the 250th celebration, so I know they have some special things in store. So please go out and support them when you see their great events on there. And thank you to the council for your vote this evening. Hopefully I'll have a lot more to say on that for the next meeting, but I do want to thank you all, and I look forward to working with you all. I look forward to working with the citizens and being involved with the citizens and making myself available. I know other councilors have already done that, and past councilors have done that as well too, but I want folks to know they can reach out at any time. And I hope that you'll see sort of a shift moving forward to how this council works with citizens. And so hopefully there's more to come on that piece. And I'm working with my fellow councilors, hopefully, to execute that as well, too. So, again, thank you to everybody for being here this evening. And nothing further, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you.